Hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and today is Memorial Day. So I hope you're enjoying your Memorial Day weekend, your day today, and it's a weird day for me as a veteran, and so man, I cannot break. I can't even get through this part. Okay, so let's refocus here. So, hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and today is Memorial Day. And I know some people, especially like veterans and maybe other people, but I know a lot of veterans don't want to say happy birthday, Jesus. Hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and today is Veterans Day. It is not Veterans Day. Hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and today is Memorial Day. And I know some veterans, and I'm sure some other people, don't want to say, happy Memorial Day, but happy Memorial Day. Hope you guys had a good weekend and enjoying this 3-day weekend for most of you. I work this weekend, but I work shift work, so it is what it is for me. So today is a sombering day. I know a lot of people are celebrating the start of summer. So every year on Memorial Day for me, now I did 20 years military. I did 6 years active duty Army, then 12 years of the Air Force National Guard in New York for a couple of years, and Connecticut for the rest of the time. And while I was in the Army, I deployed to Afghanistan in 06 for a year, and we lost a couple of guys. I wear the bracelet all the time, and I'm sure you guys by this point seen some like the thumbnail and everything. So Memorial Day isn't just a day for me, it's basically every day. And it's been almost 20 years at this point, and it's still basically every day. And I know there's veterans out there that live the same life or have the same situation. They're in the same situation. And so this video is more for you guys, not really a whiskey video. It's more for any veterans that are watching this. I've seen it far too much since the deployment 20 years ago. I deployed 5 times total, but the first one was the worst one. But I've seen too many people lose their lives either by their own hands or by other people's hands for stuff they basically did over the years. So, we lose 22 veterans a day to suicide. Not exactly a good number. We lost more people to suicide than actually in the war. So it's something that a lot of people deal with, and it's it's not good. Now it's not something I struggle with, and if you are out there and you're struggling with it, we have the Veteran Crisis Hotline, and I know some people that actually work that hotline that were combat veterans that deployed with me. So and I know plenty of veterans that have called it, and they've got assistance that way. If you don't want to call them and you want to email me and exchange numbers, we can talk. Like I've talked to a lot of people over the years, and if you just need someone to talk to and you don't have people to talk to, hey, if I'm the guy, I'll be that guy. I'll be that person to talk to. I know the platoon I deployed with to Afghanistan, we were called Black Sheep. And that's going to come up in a little bit when I talk about the whiskey or what I drink every single year for Memorial Day. But that platoon has stayed pretty close, right? We trained in Germany together. We all lived in the barracks. Well, most of us lived in the barracks, the non-NCOs. Back then I was an E4. We all deployed together for a year. Even in Afghanistan, we got split up. One squad stayed in Ghazni, 2 squads we went to Logar. But the whole year we were together. Then we came back to Germany and we just, had a good time together. Even though we lost some people overseas and it was a tough deployment, we were very tight-knit group. And up to this is 20 years now. This is 2025. That deployment was in 06. We knew each other from some of us from 04 time frame. And we all left there around 07. We all basically ETS to other duty assignments. and we still are close. We still talk to each other. I don't want to say daily, but maybe weekly, monthly. We have a big Facebook group chat that we kind of like talk on, like when things like crazy things happen, we all kind of talk about it. When I retired, basically almost 2 years ago at this point, a few of my Black Sheep brothers came to my retirement, and I really appreciate them for traveling all the way out here and coming to my retirement. A lot of people got out after their initial contract. I was one of the only fools that stayed in 20 years. But so I don't know where I'm going on this little tangent, but I don't know if I'll cut this in at the end. I don't know, man. But what I do every single year is I'll go and smoke a cigar. Well, first, so I have a little KIA memorial, which I'll probably put in the beginning and end of this video. Because if you didn't do the moment of silence to reflect in the beginning of the video, I'll give you an opportunity to do it at the end. But I have a little KIA memorial in my house. I had it in my old house. And, there's several people that I know that I've deployed with that died overseas, that I've served with that deployed with other units. I'm looking right at it, sorry. But every year I have, there's a winery that me and my wife went to a few years ago in Massachusetts. And I guess they were distilling at the time. We haven't been there in years. But they had a brand called Black Sheep. So Black Sheep brandy, aguardiente brandy. And then I have another bottle that's just called brandy. And I'll do a shot of this every year. And I bought a few bottles of this. I didn't know this was going to be a tradition, but luckily I have a couple bottles. But this one's about halfway. But I only do a shot every year for them because I'm not a big aguardiente fan. But it's a Black Sheep bottle. So I do that with them, and I'll smoke a cigar. So this year's cigar is a veteran-owned cigar company called Warfighter. And it might not be this exact one. I have a couple other Warfighter ones, but this is the one I just grabbed out of the humidor. This one's called the Garrison Warfighter Tobacco Company, 556. So we'll see. That's the cigar, but there's a few different ones. I have a night shift one that I bought a whole box of to give cigars to my night shift co-workers. A couple other drinks. So when I'm smoking a cigar, what I'll probably drink are these drinks. So you guys, I'm sure, if you have heard this brand, let me know. Chattermark. This is Chattermark straight bourbon, and this is, I think, 2 years old exactly. It's young. Now we're probably 4 years into it. They might be releasing a 4-year bourbon soon. Chattermark was started by one of my commanders from the Air Force National Guard. And, he retired. He actually came back. He was the one that retired me at my retirement. And he was retired at that point. He did not have to do that. I really appreciate it. But Colonel John Sergini started this Chattermark Distillers in Boston. So I went up there a couple years ago and I bought a few different bottles. They have gin and other stuff too, but he wants to focus more on whiskey, but he's doing all grain to glass, grain to bottle. And so, it takes time to age the barrels and everything. So there might be at 4 years at this point, but this one was a 2-year, 4-grain bourbon. There's a lot of Chattermark is about resiliency. It's a code word in the air battle management realm of the Air Force. Basically changing freaks, overcoming the adversaries. So it's if you're ever in Boston, they don't really distribute that much. But if you're ever in the Boston area, they're in northern Boston. Look them up, Chattermark. They have a nice little bar there. They do a lot of cocktails and stuff like that. So if you're ever in Boston, definitely go check them out. And there's a lot of veteran-owned distilleries out there. Horse Soldier comes to mind. 4 Branches. You know, there's a few different stuff out there that you can pick and be drinking, but and you know, I have some of those bottles, but there's also Art of a Spirit. Now, Art of Spirit, they're not veterans, that I don't believe. I looked online to kind of see. It seems like they were like artists that also liked thing, but they're labels and they do a lot of stuff for charity. They're right outside of a military base in Denver, right? Denver? I think Fort Carlson is the base near them. See if my buddy helps them with their picks out in Colorado. Yeah, Colorado Springs. But they're right outside of a military base. I know my buddy's in the military, and he helps them out with their picks and stuff like that. So he's able to give me a lot of the Art and Spirit stuff. But I'll drink this with a cigar, and so that'll be my Memorial Day. So let me know what you do on your Memorial Day. Now, this is gonna be a shorter video. I didn't want to make a long video. I wasn't gonna drink for this video. It's just one of those days of the year that's a lot of people are celebrating, and I get why veterans like don't say Happy Memorial Day, but that's, for me, I want people to enjoy their lives all the time. Always enjoy life, be happy. We have one life. It's very short. Enjoy it. What I always say for Memorial Day is, if you're not one of the people that think about memorial, like people that died overseas, like on a basic daily basis, take Memorial Day as that one day to stop and take a moment and reflect and, you know, just take a moment. So here's another opportunity to take that moment. Don't do nothing stupid. And if you do, don't get caught.